Welcome back, everyone. It is Monday, June 9th, and the MLB. Our three favorite picks are on the way. And yes, I'm no longer recording from the void. We finally got some stuff back up in the background. Logan, how are you doing? Let's recap yesterday. 2-3 day, lost a little bit less than a unit, so not too bad there. Got a little unlucky, though, in your pick, Logan. Angels and Mariners under 4.5 first five. I mean, one run going into the bottom of the fourth. There was not even a runner on base. We had two outs, and then, of course, just the floodgates open. 5 runs scored in the first five. Logan, how many ended up in the full game? 5. That's just a tough. You could take the full game under. Pena ended his hit streak, and we lost our strikeout parlay by 1 strikeout. So we're right there. We're on a 3-day win streak. Got a little bit humbled yesterday. Let's try to bounce back today with a 3-0 day. We will not have a strikeout sheet today. It will just be the 3 picks in the video. So lock these in. We won't have a ladder challenge today as there's no NBA games going on. We're going to run an MLB ladder, but we're going to let the NBA carry its thing through the next few, week or so, and then we'll figure out an MLB ladder after the fact. But I'm going to dive into my first pick and under and earned runs. Yesterday we cashed with Joe Ryan. It should have been a little bit more sweat-free, but he had an error in there, which accounted for one of his unearned run, which ended up being the reason we cashed. Let's talk about this guy, Yusei Kikuchi, who's been out for us this season. Hopefully he can lock in and go under 2.5 earned runs, which is minus 125 on DraftKings, a 1-unit play. Now, if you look at the Athletics and their numbers against the A's, who are against lefties, which we'll touch on in a second, they have pretty good numbers. However, I will highlight something that I found kind of interesting and why I think Kikuchi can go out there and pitch pretty well. Now, Kikuchi will be at home taking on the Athletics, and that's exactly where you'd want him because at home, Kikuchi's been locked in this season. In fact, don't believe me, look at his numbers. This season at home, he's pitching to a 1.33 ERA. He has been dominant compared to a 4.43 on the road. In general, in night games, he's pitching to a 2.82 ERA. Now, is it a clean? Oh, he throws the no-hit innings. Now, but he's able to get out of jams and able to get those swings and misses when he needs them. And something I found very interesting was the A's, they have good splits versus lefties in general, but they have actually only faced one, counted up one left-handed starter this season on the road. Every single lefty they faced have been at home, and they're very hitter-friendly ballpark. But on the road, they've only faced one, and that was Patrick Corbin. I think they didn't even face one in May. That was back in April, at the end of April, and Patrick Corbin went out there and only allowed 2 earned runs in 5 innings pitched. Now, Kikuchi, his first 3 starts of the year were rocky, which will give him a pass because he's coming and getting used to the season. But his last 10 starts, 2.6 ERA. Under this line in 7 of 10 starts. The 3 games he went over, all were on the road. He's gone under in all 5 home starts, allowing 2, 1 or fewer in every single other start. So only 1 start he was at 2 earned runs. And like I said, the A's have good numbers against lefties, but it's a little bit skewed because all of them have been in their very hitter-friendly ballpark, whereas, the Angel Stadium is more or less pretty neutral. We've saw, they haven't faced a lefty starter since May 25th, so they haven't really seen a lefty in nearly 2 weeks. And I just don't know if they're going to be able to tag him in this first game away from home. They've been 7 straight home games, first game on the road. And Kikuchi is a guy that will walk some guys that the A's don't really walk a ton against lefties. So again, a look at Kikuchi this season at home. He is pitching very, very well, and he's allowing a 158 batting average with runners in scoring position. I think he can go out there and pitch pretty decently. I do hate the Angels like to leave their starters in a little bit too long, but Kikuchi, not the most efficient guy. So if he can be inefficient but still get through his innings, I think we can cash that under 2.5 earned runs in 5 or 6 innings pitched. Go out there and do your job, Mr. Kikuchi. But I'm throwing to Logan. He has a first 5 money line. We looked at the full game money line, but Logan can touch on what we're just going first 5. Logan, who are we backing tonight?
Yeah, so we're going to be rolling with the fish on the first 5 innings money line. I'm taking the Marlins on the first 5, minus 120 odds on FanDuel is your best value there. Now, something interesting to note, the Marlins are slight underdogs on the full game money line, but they are favorite through 5. This is a first 5 money line, right? We need the Marlins to be leading through 5 for a win or tied through 5 for a push. If you take a first 5 money line and you get the push, you silently celebrate that to yourself because a push is better than a loss, especially on our season. I mean, we've had some really brutal L's there. But again, I want to avoid both these teams' bullpens. I really don't know what to expect with the Marlins bullpen. They're a little bit depleted, and I really don't know what the long relief comes after Yuri Perez. And then the Pirates also have some late game heroics every now and then. So I just would rather avoid that. I want to target Yuri Perez versus Mike Burrows. Those are the 2 starting pitchers. And let's talk about Mike Burrows because he starts for the Pirates. 5.27 ERA and a 1.32 whip. I like fading Burrows off a good start, and that's what he's coming off of. 5 1/3 innings pitched, 0 earned runs. He shut out the Astros in his innings pitched. I really do think this is a solid start, or a solid spot to target Mike Burrows for a little bit of a regression spot, because I mean, he just pitched a little bit too well in that one. And Marlins offense hitting 243 versus righties this month. That's not necessarily smoking the ball, but it's good enough for me to back them. If they were hitting like 205 or something, no chance. We saw what Miami just did against Taj Bradley a couple games ago. That was what the Marlins are capable of. They are capable of pouncing on a right-handed pitcher that makes mistakes. Mike Burrows makes mistakes, and hopefully the Marlins can make him pay for it, just like they did Taj Bradley a couple of games ago. When Burrows is behind in the count, he's allowing a 353 batting average, which is just something I found really interesting, because I like to look at a pitcher and all their splits versus, all the different scenarios, runners in scoring position, etc. He's okay with runners in scoring position, but really, if he's falling behind in that count, allowing almost a 400 batting average, just the Marlins, put the bat on your shoulder. Try to get him to throw strikes today. I think they'll be in a really solid spot to get to Burrows. And then on the other side, we need Yuri Perez to hold it down. He starts for the Marlins. He makes his season debut. This is his first start since 2023. So, I mean, you got to be betting baseball for a hot minute to really remember the last time Yuri Perez was on the mound. But I like this guy. I think he's a really good starting pitcher. He's made 8 minor league starts, 5 in single A, 3 in double A, or 3 in triple A. His 3 triple A starts is really what I want to look at. 2.13 ERA, 1.11 whip, only a 156 batting average allowed. He's a really tough pitcher to get hits up on, and that's why I really like this matchup for him. He was elite back in 2023 when he only allowed a 214 batting average. And something to note, if you never watched Yuri Perez pitch, he's tall. This is a big guy on the mound. He's 6'8", and really that's kind of hard for batters to see. The taller the pitcher, the more extension they get on the mound, and it can make their pitches, you have less reaction time because the hand is coming at you from a different angle when you're a taller pitcher. So it's one of those things that, like, no, it might not show up on paper, but Yuri Perez, a tough pitcher for batters to see, especially considering batters haven't seen him in a couple of years, right? Since May 1st, the Pirates own the second worst batting average with runners in scoring position. In June, they own the 4th lowest, only a 182 average, whereas the Marlins, 4th highest, 303 in June. We saw, again, what they were able to do against Taj Bradley. Now, something I want to note is Yuri Perez, kind of like maybe his Achilles heel, is he every now and then walks batters, and that's okay, really, against a Pirates team that's going to challenge them to hit with runners in scoring position today. I'm riding with Yuri Perez in the fish today. Hopefully they have his back. Hopefully they give him run support, and hopefully he doesn't show too many signs of rust, which I don't think he will. Love this matchup for him. But Austin, what else are you rolling with?
Yeah, let's take it away with our third and final play of the day. Like I said, normally we do a strikeout sheet, and we're still going to post one for the Dub Club, but today's slate of pitchers really isn't the favorite one, so let's not force it, and let's instead go back to where we've been making our money the last few days, and that's a both the score one in the first 5 innings. We've talked with this before. It's on DraftKings. It's on BetMGM. If you're on just FanDuel, maybe you look at some alt overs in the first 5. Then you have the upside of both offenses, one of them popping off. Maybe the other doesn't even score. But the 2 games we're targeting today, we haven't touched on it all today. It's going to be the Tampa Bay Rays in Boston taking on the Red Sox, and the Mariners taking on the Diamondbacks, both to score 1 in the first 5. We don't need 10 runs combined from each of these teams. We just need 1 run from each of them, a solo home run for all I care, and we cash a little plus 106 play. These are our 2 favorite games. We looked at the Dodgers and Padres if you're looking for a third one to boost those odds, but these are our 2 favorite. We'll kind of tag these, and maybe tomorrow we'll go with 3. Who knows? These have been paying for us so far since we started tracking them towards the record 3-0. Let's hope they can all get it done. If you don't know how to bet these, like I said, on DraftKings or BetMGM, DraftKings at plus 102, you'll go to each game's first X plus innings tab. They'll have a both to score 1. They'll even have it for 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you'll do the same thing on BetMGM, although it's under the innings tab for each game. But let's talk with each of these 2 games. We'll head out to Fenway, where the Red Sox, coming off a high-scoring series against the Yankees, they'll return home. And typically you might be looking as a fade thing on Sunday Night Baseball. But, I mean, let's be honest. Going from New York City to Boston really isn't a ton of travel. I feel like when you normally fade those Sunday Night Baseball teams, we're talking off the ones that are going from West Coast to East Coast or East Coast to West Coast, and that might play a little bit of role into them having a little bit of fatigue there. But again, New York to Boston, not a big chance there. Instead, we'll see Shane Baz versus Brian Bayo. Now, Shane Baz had a great start to the year, But in May, 7.26 ERA. Just gave up 3 earned runs to a very low hitting Rangers offense in his only June start. He did face Boston earlier this year, cooked them. They still got 1 run on him, though, but he had 11 strikeouts. We know Boston, a really good hitting team at Fenway Park, very hitter friendly ballpark. Then Brian Bayo starts on the other side, 3.91 ERA and a 1.59 whip. You're looking for regression. Brian Bayo is basically your poster child because he has a 5.71 expected ERA, 2+ runs allowed, and 5 straight starts. I think the Rays, they're not the best offense in the world, but they have talent in there. We've seen them do it in their hitter-friendly ballpark down in Tampa. I think they'll be able to score some runs in Fenway, one from each of those 2 teams. Then we go to a later night game, Mariners, D-backs. Let's talk about the Mariners, who they'll start. It's Emerson Hancock. Logan knows it very well. He pitched a gem in his last start, but he's still allowed a home run in 4 of his last 5, and he's allowed a run at least in every single start this season. And the D-backs, we know they are one of the most talented offenses at home. I trust them to put some runs up. I think if we are to lose this parlay, it could come down to the Mariners against Merrill Kelly. But Merrill Kelly, similar to some other guys we talked about, coming off a legacy start, 7 innings pitched, 1 hit, 0 earned runs to the Braves. When a guy goes out there like that and shoves, you just would expect a little bit of regression coming. And he had a similar start earlier this year. What happened in his next start? 4 earned runs allowed. And now the Mariners, are they the most high scoring offense? No, but the offense is cooking. Yesterday against Tyler Anderson, they were able to finally get things going. They had so many chances with runners in scoring position. Today they'll get, and that was without Kyle Riley. We know he could do it with just a solo blast based on how he's swinging the bat. And it's just a D-backs field where the outfield's huge and the ball gets in there. He had doubles, triples, and stuff like that. I just trust Merrill Kelly to at least give up 1 run. They saw him back in 2023 and tagged him for 3. We've seen at least 1 run allowed from 10 of the last 11 righty starters to face the Mariners. So hopefully they can come through. The D-backs are pretty confident they do. Boston and the Rays, that's a little parlay there. All to score 1 in the first 5 at plus 106. I like it. I don't love it as much as like the Orioles and Athletics ones we were taking, but also those games came in with a 10.5 or 11 total and trash pitchers. Today we have some decent pitchers on the mound, but all we're asking for is 1 run. I think these offenses are good enough to get it done. So those are our 3 picks to recap, and we have this both to score 1+ first 5 parlay. We have my player prop, Yusei Kikuchi's under and earned runs, and Logan's Marlins first 5 money line, which does have some push potential, a little bit different than taking the first 5 run line, which needs the Marlins to lead by 1. We'll just take them on the first 5 money line. If it's tied through 5, we get our money back. No harm, no foul. Whereas if you do the full game money line, you might not get your money back there if they do lose. Yeah, not you might. If they lose, you ain't getting that money back. That's just how it be. Either way, those are our 3 picks. No NBA video today. Again, we appreciate you guys for tuning in. Hopefully you like the background, and hopefully is the sign of good things to come. And we can maybe the background brings us a 3-0 sweep. If it does, might start hanging up even more things. It's Austin Logan. We're signing out. We'll see you guys back tomorrow for Dinger Tuesday. See you guys then. Peace.